Hey, I'm Brandon Chapman, Pullman Ward 3 City Council member, and I'm joined by Justin Glover. First of all, Justin, thank you so much for joining me. And I can't help but notice that you also immediately look a little tech savvy because here I am with my mic. A lot of people think I'm a professional YouTuber, and you've got soundproofing on your wall. Tell me a little bit about that.
I do. So the soundproofing is actually for a few years now. I've been running a podcast with my friends locally. A couple of them are remote, but for the most part, we get together locally. We play some Dungeons and Dragons, and we yep, total nerd thing. But we get a kick out of it. We have a lot of fun. We've had several thousand listeners, and it's been a good time.
Yeah,
So
and you want to make sure that you're not waking up children, your wife, whatever, while you're doing this. So the soundproofing is necessary, right? So
it
you
well,
are,
it's yeah, something like that.
yeah. So you're already pretty tech savvy, but that's not why I'm going to talk to you. Not about the Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Man, I got to tell you, I think I've missed that one. So one of the cool things is right during the beginning of coronavirus, people were confused. They didn't know what to do. Businesses were trying to adapt to the governor's orders and try to just be safe. And other folks wanted to know, where can I go to eat? And now restaurants are closed. So can I get takeout or delivery? And you might show up and find out that one of the businesses is closed. And so take me through this site that you've got. It's called poluceinfo.com. And tell me what you saw the needs were, why you stepped up to do it. And I'll tell you what, I'm just going to hand control over to you, in fact, on this, because I think it would be better to have you just take control. So I'm going to remote control to you, and I think you've got
Okay.
control now. So tell me a little bit about this.
Oh, yep, there it is. Okay. So this was like you mentioned, it was in response to particularly when Governor Inslee asked us to start closing non-essential businesses. So restaurants and such were restricted from having people inside and had to go to takeout only and delivery and such. And I wanted some way to help the community. I noticed there was no really easily accessible spot or easy to find spot that had all the information about restaurants and businesses grouped together. And so I felt that this would be a really good way to do that and try and make it an easy way where people could navigate it. So I threw together policeinfo.com. I had it up within 24 hours, I think, of the announcement from the governor about shutting down those businesses. And since then, I've been trying to work with the community to keep information coordinated so that we make sure we have proper hours and proper services up there. I've also been coordinating with a few people within city leadership to try and so this section right here, you'll see it says protect yourself, take out delivery, kind of little announcements. These were 4 steps that the city said that they would like citizens to take to try and help our local businesses, our local economy. So I threw this header up there at their request, and it's hard. Oh, go ahead.
And I'm not afraid to ask names here. You mentioned working with the city. I assume you were working to some extent with Jennifer Hackman,
Yeah.
economic development, yeah,
Yes,
coordinator. Yeah.
Jennifer Hackman has been wonderful. She's been very helpful in kind of recommending what information to focus on and what to show, what notices to get out to the citizens. So it's been really helpful to have her to coordinate within the city, because I'm pretty sure the city can't legally endorse a website outside of their own. I don't know, but it's been nice to have someone who is very much in the economic know of Pullman, so I can know what I need to focus on for citizens and for the businesses.
Yeah, and I don't know what the legality of that is, but in some form or fashion, if we were really touting one business over the other, in some way, because that employee is paid for by public dollars, I could assume somebody might say, "Hey, that's a gifting of public funds in some way." But
Yeah,
um,
so she's in no way mentioned particular businesses to promote. So it's all been just me putting together information. I've broken it down into kind of figured grocery stores would be one of the ones people wonder about most. Their hours, reserved hours. So we've got our 3 main local stores right here: Dismore's, Safeway, and Walmart. There are links for each of these where you can go to order online. Safeway has delivery options. Walmart also has order online, and you can pick up in the parking lot. Uh, so when I try to list the hours here, because a lot of places modified hours, some didn't. Safeway, I think, actually has normal hours besides these reserved hours. And the nice thing is, like I said, if I have these hours wrong, people are able, you've actually contacted me a couple times and giving me corrected hours, which has been super helpful.
Well, and a lot of times it's just something that's on their door saying, as of this date, we'll have modified hours, and there's no way you would know that. And I'm always nice enough that
Yeah,
I try to send a picture so that you can actually source or cite
that
that
is very
and know
nice.
that I'm not pulling the wool over your eyes, right? But you have crowdsourced a lot of the info. When you first got
Yeah.
this started, did you have to make a lot of phone calls though?
Actually, very few. There was a lot of information that I had been gathering up from Pullman Radio News. Actually, I'd like to give them a big shout out. They don't know they helped me, but they did. So, because a
All
lot of
right, good job,
companies,
Evan Else.
yeah, a lot of companies were contacting them and posting their adjusted hours. And so Pullman Radio News actually had a similar post on Facebook initially that said, "Here's these hours we know of. Tell us if you know more." And so I gathered a lot of that information from that post and the comments the citizens were making. And from there, it kind of grew to uh, I added the contact us section on here. I think if you go to contact, let me see if it lets me. It loads up. Yeah, so here I've made it so people can contact me with their email, so I can contact them back and source what company they're talking about, what the phone number of company is, if they have updated hours, corrected information, different services, something I've gotten wrong or I'm missing. And they're able to do that. And I've gotten quite a few emails through this from company owners, from citizens that noticed an update. I also recently added down here, there's a little Facebook chat button. So if they're on Facebook, people can directly contact, I can continue as you, look at that. People can directly contact me with information about businesses or any questions they have.
See, you've got control right now, which means you should hit that messenger and just it says it would be me and type in, Justin, you're the greatest man we've ever known.
I should, yeah. See, continue. I think it'll make me log in, but yeah. So
Oh,
I'm gonna do that to you, but it does. There's that option. I figured it was the easiest way to get communication with people because I think a lot of people weren't seeing the contact us page because I had a lot of information up top and moved it around so people could get to information about the community faster rather than looking at all these contact us and tell us what's going on links. But like I said, we broke things. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was gonna mention you broke things up rather nicely so that some folks who might say, hey, it's all the focus has been put on restaurants and not as much on retail or services. Yes, restaurants are stacked, grocery stores, which is definitely essential, and then restaurants, and then retail down there. But you do have the quick buttons up top that can just jump. I would imagine it just jumps. Is that what it does?
It does. So if you're up here, because one of the things I threw this up so fast that it was very much hacking together various templates and functionalities. And so a general search functionality does not properly work on this page.
Right.
And to customize the template has been a huge amount of work. So I figured the fastest way to do this was
You just anchor it to.
exactly. You want to see retail, you click it, it'll take you down to retail. And you
Okay.
can view
Right.
retail sites.
Right. And then you can see all of these Flirt, Identity, Salon, Crimson and Gray. That's great. And look at that. Look at that. Pullman Aquatic Center is actually listed there. So there you go.
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, there's definitely some missing, and that's where I lean on the community a lot for help. I've tried to get word about this through Facebook, through Reddit, through Twitter, and it has spread quite a bit. We've gotten over, I think at this point, nearly 5,000 views. So it's been getting out there, and like I said, I've been getting a lot of contact from people, but I know there's still businesses out there I don't have because there's so many. I was honestly surprised at how many were in Pullman. I did not realize that we had this many businesses and restaurants in town.
Yeah, and that's something that we've talked about before is that a lot of people don't realize how many restaurants we have in Pullman, especially even in downtown. Like there's quite a few. And often we don't consider that. Yeah, so and it is kind of disappointing to see those that are closed right now.
There
But
are, and that's
hopefully we can get that back. But this is really helpful. This is helpful for folks to plan. And I can tell you that on Wednesdays, a few friends of mine and me, we will get some takeout, and then we'll put about 10 feet actually between us, and we just have a little social distancing lunch. And so I went to this the other day just because I didn't want to get in the same rut, right? We're trying to share the love. And I came here, which is what prompted me again to remember this and contact you, but to try and think through what we hadn't seen or we hadn't eaten yet in a while. So this was really helpful. Have you had any angry emails or anything like that, because somebody was mad that you had wrong info or you didn't have their business? And you don't have to name them, obviously, but have you had any of those?
I had one. It wasn't angry. Someone concerned. I had because the Chamber of Commerce also has a list that I have been drawing information from that they asked companies to fill out and put their new hours on.
Okay.
It's less comprehensive than this one I've found, but it's still very useful because that seemed to be the one they were sending out to people, which makes sense because of the Chamber of Commerce. It's their responsibility. So I referenced that, and one of the businesses on there had marked down that they were closed, except by appointment only. And so I went on my website and marked it as closed, and I put a link to their website for putting orders through on there. But they came to my website the next morning and they noticed, because they heard about the website first off, they didn't know it existed before, and then they heard about it. They went and they noticed that it marked closed, and there was no obvious link to say we are still open and taking orders. And so they emailed me and said, hey, I don't want this to have an impact on my company. Can you change it? So I changed it right away, coordinated with the owner, and, got the information correct to make sure that everything was reflecting properly. But yeah, that's the only one I've had where someone was, I don't know if upset is even the right word. They were just concerned. But other than that, it's been a very positive response from most everyone who's seen it. They feel like it's a very useful resource, and I've used it a few times. The other day, my wife and I were looking for somewhere to support, and she was checking Google. She's like, "Oh, it says they're open." I'm like, "Nah, they're closed. Don't use Google. They don't know."
Well,
We know.
your wife Ayana, she's a saint if there ever was one, to put up with you and the time that it's taken you to do this.
Yeah, she has
So
been wonderful.
so let me just ask from a philosophical standpoint. I know people were confused and wanted to know, but what more at its core, like what was the reason you thought it would be important to do this? Why did you feel so compelled to do it?
Because I love Pullman. I came here for college, 13 years ago now. No, yeah, 2007. Wow. Uh, and I just fell in love with this community, and I ended up staying around after college and getting a full-time job. And I live here in town now. I work remotely for another company now, and we love this town, and we love our little local places. We don't want to see Pullman hurt. And I realized, because I go out and I look for these things. I'm like, man, I don't know who's open and who's closed right now. I don't know where to look. It's a pain to sort through Facebook timeline to find where the posts have been. There was no real good spot to look up the information. And so I wanted a website where people could easily find it so they can more easily support our businesses, that they don't get frustrated trying to find the info and then just give up. I want them to be like, okay, this is open. I can go here. I can even click this link right here and order online if I want to. It'll open up a new tab with directly on the ordering site. But yeah, that's the core of it. I want Pullman I want all the businesses to survive this. Obviously that's quite a bit out of my hands, but I wanted to do what I could to help Pullman survive this. So
Yeah, hey, that's really cool. I appreciate it. As somebody else who loves Pullman, we left after school to go to grad school and job and everything, and we came back. It's obviously something that is at my core, right? A love for Pullman, and as we say, hashtag Pullman proud, right? So I totally thank you. And whether it's an endorsement of a third-party site or not, I don't work for the city. I'm an elected official. I work for the residents, and I thought this was fantastic to see another resident just step up, in a time of need. And often that is sometimes high risk because no good deed goes unpunished sometimes. So I'm glad that the people have been more thankful than upset at this. I
definitely.
know for me and my family and my friends, right, for our Wednesday lunch, that this has been extremely helpful. And if I were a business owner as well, I think I would be appreciative just to have this here. They put in work to have online ordering processes, and not everybody would know that. So thank you very much, just as another Pullman resident, for doing this, and as a city council member, thank you for stepping up.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to do it. I figured somebody would. I noticed a couple other websites where people tried, and so, but I just wanted to do what I could and use my talents with what limited capacity I have to physically help the businesses, to use what I could to help. And I'm glad that it's made some level of difference.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see you're using those skills for something other than Dungeons and Dragons too.
That's fair. Yeah,
Cool, Justin. Cool, you're one of the good ones. Say hi to Ayana and the kids, and appreciate it, man.
will do. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thanks.